Hello students, welcome to online classes of Shemstar Global School. I am Nabila Fatima. As you all know that social science is divided into three parts, that is history, geography and civics. Today we will start the first chapter of geography, that is resources, for class 8th. In this chapter we will study resources and its classification. First of all, let us start with the meaning of resources. Now, what is resources? Any object or substance that is living or non-living in nature that has utility is known as resources. Utility means that it is useful and it satisfies human needs. So basically anything that fulfills human needs is called a resource. All resources have some value. In terms of money, some resources have economic value and some do not. Economic value means that we have to pay in order to use that resource. For example, if you want to eat an apple, you will buy that apple from the vendor. Here, you are paying money to satisfy your need. So this type of resource have an economic value. Some resources do not have economic value. That means that we do not have to pay money in order to use them. For example, air. But both economic resources and non-economic resources are important as it satisfies human needs. Types of resources. Resources can be classified into three types. First one, natural resources. Second one, human-made resources. And the third one, human resources. So, let us start with the first one, that is natural resources. Natural resources are those resources that are drawn from nature and are used without much modification. So, we use them in their original form. And these resources are used for a variety of purposes. For example, air, water, soil and minerals are all natural resources. Now, natural resources are classified into different groups depending upon their level of development and use, origin, renewability and distribution. So the first one, on the basis of level of their development and use, resources can be classified into actual and potential resources. Actual resources are those resources whose location and quantity are known and we have the technology to exploit and use them. Example, mineral deposit of the Chota Nagpur plateau. Now, potential resources are those resources which we have insufficient knowledge or which we do not have technology to exploit them at present. For example, minerals located at great depth under the thick ice cover in Antarctica. In this slide, there is a difference between actual and potential resources. First difference is actual resources are those resources whose quantity is known to us and we have the technology to exploit and use them, as we have already discussed. Potential resources, on the other hand, are those resources whose entire quantity may not be known. Second one, actual resources are those resources that are being used in the present. Potential resources, on the other hand, cannot be used at present and it could be used in the future because in the present we do not have the technology to exploit them, but in the future we can have. The last difference between actual resources and potential resources are, under actual resources, the example of actual resources are the coal of Germany, petroleum in the West Asia. Under potential resources, example, the uranium in Ladakh. On the basis of origin, the natural resources can be biotic and abiotic. Now let us discuss the meaning of biotic and abiotic resources. As the name suggests, biotic, here bio means living. So biotic resources are those resources that are derived from the living things such as wood, crops, meat, leather and medicines from the plants and animals. Abiotic resources, on the other hand, are those resources that are derived from non-living things such as stones, minerals, sand and clay. Here in the slide, there is a difference between biotic resources and abiotic resources. The first difference between biotic resources and abiotic resources are, under biotic resources, it includes all the living things. Under abiotic resources, it includes all the non-living things. Example of biotic resources are plants and animals. Example of abiotic resources are soil, rocks and minerals. On the basis of renewability, natural resources can be classified into renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Those which can get renewed or replenished quickly are called as renewable resources. They are also called as inexhaustible resources. Or renewable resources are resources that can be regenerated after use in a relatively short span of time. Example, solar energy, air and water or wind energy. Whereas on the other hand, non-renewable resources are those which can have a limited stock. Once the stock are exhausted, it may take 1,000 of years to be renewed or replenished. They are also called as exhaustible resources. Or we can say that non-renewable resources are the ones that take millions of years to regenerate and do not reappear during the lifespan of human beings. Example, coal, petroleum and natural gas. It should be kept in mind that non-renewable resources are limited and therefore they must be used carefully and judiciously. On the basis of distribution, natural resources can be classified into two categories are there. First one is ubiquitous resources and the second one is localized resources. Under ubiquitous resources, these resources are found everywhere on earth. For example, land, water, air are ubiquitous resources. Localized resources are those resources which are found only in certain places or only in the specific place, we can say. For example, petroleum, copper and iron ore. So, students, with this we have completed the whole topic of natural resources. We will continue the further topic of this chapter in the next video. Till then, please watch the video very carefully. Thank you.